Welcome to episode 101 of the Clarity Compressed podcast. My name is Paul J. Daly, and I am fired up to be your host. We have a very special guest. It is Alex Vetter. He is the CEO of cars.com. Clarity can only really exist in the light of truth. Branding just isn't a tactic. It's a lifestyle change. Today's moment of clarity is actually brought to us courtesy of a meeting that I had with the one and only Donald Miller, and I'm going to let him tell you what it is.
The answer to most questions is not an idea, it's a person.
Yeah, so most times the answer to your problem isn't an idea, it's a person.
I'm so excited for what he's going to show me. Hurry up and show me Paul's pick.
Okay, Paul's pick for today. I'm just going to stay on the topic of this hat. So I don't know if you can see the logo. Maybe you got it, but this hat is from one of my favorite stores. It is called The Local Branch. The store is in the Syracuse area in a little town called Skinny Atlas, and it is full of these really perfectly curated United States made goods, U.S. goods. They're amazing leather crafters, so there's all kinds of cool leather craft. Hold on, check this out. If you're just listening, it is a Zippo lighter cover that's leather. It's awesome. Also, these really great leather holders that go around a mason jar. thelocalbranch.co. This is not a sponsored post. Alex, I find him to be a very, very straightforward kind of person. I really appreciated the insights because when you learn from people who have experiences that you don't have or you didn't have, that's actually how you learn. And there's always somebody to learn from. I mean, you don't just learn from people that have a lot more experience than you do. You actually can learn from people who have a lot less experience than you do. But I don't want to belabor this anymore. So here is my interview with Alex Vetter in Chicago. Alex, we've been waiting for this for a long time. Thanks for giving some time to me. I know you're busy, and the Clarity Compressed audience.
Paul, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I heard you tell me a story before, and I think it's a story that most people haven't heard, and it is about when you first came across the domain cars.com.
Let's see, in 1997, the group that gave us the capital to get cars.com started, we went out to find a domain name, and it was to a proud Corvette owner. He had an orange Corvette on his front yard. The website only had a picture of one car, one Corvette, and we started the offer at around $5,000.
You show up?
Well,
What'd you do?
It was all done, over the phone. And I knew we were in trouble because the second call I had with him had lawyers involved.
Well, the first call's like, I'll give you $100.
Right. So we ended up settling, I think, for $70,000. About a month and a half later,
and he had another Corvette.
In 1997, that was a big investment for a domain name, considering they were limitless for $15.
Yep. Had you ever had more contact after that transaction? Did he stick
No.
around? Was he a fan?
By the way, if you're out there listening to this, I've still got your name somewhere, but it would be great to have him back and featured at one of our big conferences. We'd love to feature.
We're going
him.
to try to make this happen.
Well, if you come to our corporate headquarters, you'll actually see a silhouette of our brand, but the shape of that Corvette.
Been on this kick a lot lately, talking about growth and thinking through the pain that comes with growth. I heard you say something. It said it was change is the price of cost of growth. What is that?
Yeah, I've said this for years, that the price of growth is change. And it's a play on words, right, in terms of monetary value of change. But if there's one certainty that I know about business is that as soon as you start relishing your past, you stop looking forward. That's why I kid that I don't like to talk too much about our past because it's just not where we're going. Mm-hmm. There's a satisfaction I get through change because it's where you grow.
Like you love it, but you hate it at the same time?
Yeah, you have to understand that when you're going through it, there's a process here, and that it's not always comfortable, but there's a learning that's happening that will make you better on the other side. And sometimes people resist it. I tend to like it.
If I unpack what you just said just a little bit, it's comfort with change can be learned.
I think that's right. I think, the more you experience going through changes, the less intimidating the next one will become, without a doubt.
Right, that's experience. So I think change gets a bad rap in a sense, like change, oh my gosh, but humans are wired to like, hey, like maintain this homeostasis. So tell me a little bit about your approach to change in such a crazy industry.
And so changing organizations is just hard. And we've tried to transform and have transformed our company from a corporate orphan towards, a hard-charging, forward, innovative company and that we're investing for growth. And which means you have to change the culture.
No doubt.
And unfortunately, you can't just change a culture by telling people. You need to really lead it. We've infused the company with a ton of outside talent, people that came from outside our industry. By infusing people with a fresh perspective, you get comfortable, but the market changes, and so your organization needs to be responsive to the change. And I do a lot of exit interviews with executives who are leaving the company. They tend to know very little about what's going on in our outside world. It gives me is almost reassurance that I want people that actually really know our customers, know our users, know what's happening in our market. And then when I'd ask them about what's going on in the ecosystem around us and they don't know a whole lot, then I've got total validation that this isn't a bad loss.
That is a validation, because if they're like, hey, it's not like it used to be, and they say that like a bad thing, you're like, it's good.
Thank you. Thank you for all you've done.
Right.
We really appreciate it, but we're moving this way.
We're both going to be better off.
And we're moving forward.
What's the most difficult thing about being the CEO of a publicly traded company? Because you've been led all types of companies, and this is like a different animal.
It is. Look, I think obviously the obvious ones are the reporting burden and the predictions that you've got to give on your business on such a rapid cycle. When the market, particularly in our market, a lot of changes have happened in auto over the last 2 years.
Sure have.
So there's the obvious ones. But I think it's navigating different people's investment horizons.
Yeah.
You've got investors that are really in it for the quarter.
Yep.
You've got investors that are in it for other reasons. And then you've got investors thinking long term. And so I think the hardest thing is to understand what are people's horizons.
Yeah.
And understanding that no matter what you say, you're not going to change what their investment thesis is over time. So being able to address what they're looking for in what time horizon, I think has really been the skill that I've learned the most in the last few years.
Now, what I've seen you doing is looking at the consumer and creating a lot of content. On the backside, though, I see you helping dealers refine their back-end processes, and so that they can all work together. And I think that's a really brilliant approach in the sense that you're trying to make the process easier for everyone. If it's easier for consumers, they're more informed, it's less friction to get to the dealer, and then when they get to the dealer, the process is smoother, more seamless, and more pleasant. I think that's going to help solve part of the bigger issue.
We give equal weight, and I think the key to any marketplace is you win both sides of the market. And the best marketplaces always do that.
So it's funny, I asked my mother-in-law the other day, what do you think Cars.com is? She says, it's a place where I can buy a car. Well, what do you want people to think when they think of Cars.com?
I ask it of every Uber driver that I ride in, or people get stuck on an airplane. I'm asking that question all the time. I think what I would hope someday is that people won't say they use Cars.com to buy their car, but they found their car on Cars.com and they bought it from Daly Chevrolet or from insert any dealer name, because we really want to be the platform that enables small businesses to compete.
What feeling do you want people to have when they hear or see Cars.com?
Levity. Buying a car, the transaction process, it is the most anxiety-ridden process for people. So number one, on users, I want them to feel a sense of relief.
It's great.
I think on the dealer side, I want them also to feel the levity or the oxygen that we bring into their business.
Wow, a word that works on both sides.
Yeah, and so levity would be it, without a doubt.
Alex, thank you so much for giving some time today.
Listen, I really appreciate what you're doing to educate people and inspire people to grow. And it's a real honor to be here.
Doing our best. Thanks. So there you have it. I hope you got some insights from him. To me, he's been a very kind and giving person, and I think he cares a whole lot about his people. I think he cares a whole lot about the industry that he serves, and I, for one, am really excited to see what Cars.com does with him at the helm over the next 12, 24 months. So that's it for show 101. Oh, one final thing. Sign up for the email list. If you go to claritycompressed.com, you're going to get a weekly digest, and the podcast will be delivered to you in your email. But we're also going to build that out. So you're going to see articles that I find interesting or things that are in line with the things I talk about and the guests that I have. and also going to do some feedback, I think, from the community. So a lot of good things coming. So if you haven't already, go to claritycompressed.com, sign up for the email, and it'll just be one more way that we can stay connected, interact, and grow and learn from one another. 101 out.
Yeah.